Morning. Welcome back. Today we're going to be working on the yellow brick road, as you've probably seen from the thumbnail. So I've got a bunch of fabric here from the Oopsie-Daisy fabric line. It's a retired fabric line, so you're probably not going to be able to find it in stores anymore. But that's okay, because you can still join along, or you can find another fabric line that works better for you. So first things first, we're going to need to go ahead and press up all of our fabrics. I've got my iron nice and hot down here. I've got my ironing station set up right here, so then that way I don't have to get up and move around a lot. And so let's get started. If you're joining me, make sure you say hi in chat so I can chat along with you. This fabric was purchased a few years ago now. It's for one of my daughters. She picked out all of the fabric. I was hoping that she might be able to join us this morning, but she's still sleeping. So maybe she'll join us a little later. We'll see. So first we just need to get these fabrics nice and flattened out. I've got my best press right here. I'm going to go ahead and spray these up here in just a minute. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here where I am at. Yesterday was a bit chilly, but today it's supposed to be beautiful and warm. I'm hoping to get outside a little later today and enjoy it. With the way things are going lately, who knows how long it'll last, right? Angel is here with us. You'll probably see her sneaking around behind me. Hopefully she doesn't bump anything like the camera. Alright, since this fabric is folded, I want to make sure that I press both sides of the fabric, because we are going to be using both sides. Hopefully I have enough best press for what we're going to be doing today. I'm not sure how much we're going to get to sewing today. It's probably going to be mostly prepping and cutting, but hopefully we'll get to some of it. And then we can either start sewing on the next one or hopefully a little bit today. Let's charge up for a minute. It's starting to get a little cool. Okay. If you do exclamation point pattern in chat, it will give you a link to the Fat Quarter Shop page store where you can purchase this pattern if you're interested. Chat bots appear to be working now. Apparently had to sign up for 2 of them in order to get one of them to work. Alright, this one looks good. Let's go ahead and get the next one lined up. And also today we're going to be using the new Martelli cutter. We're going to see how that works today as well. This pattern is a fat quarter friendly pattern. However, when I went to purchase the fabric at a quilt store in Tennessee, they didn't have the fat quarter bundle for this line, so I had to use something else. Excuse me just a moment while I let a cat out. They'll probably want back in 5 minutes. Alright. That's working a little bit better. Now this fabric has been sitting for a while because I bought it a couple years ago, so these wrinkles are pretty set in there. So I really gotta push a little hard. See, told you, she already wants back in. Angel, just a minute. I always like to press my fabrics and make sure that they're nice and stiff before I do all my cutting, so then that way I can ensure that my cuts are nice and straight. Let me let the cat back in. Come on. Yeah, make up your mind, please. Thank you. Yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and press these up. I'd love to know what you guys are working on. If you're working on any projects right now, please feel free. Let us know what they are in the chat. There we go. Make sure to do the other side. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Hi, Tony. Thanks for joining me. Alright, so we're going to flip this one around and do this side now. Probably should have grabbed a washcloth to wipe up all my excess spray. Just hopefully I have enough. Alright. That one. Charge again. Get these lined up, ready to cut. Alright, next up. This fabric is so pretty. The daisies are just so beautiful. So pretty. This way. Angel is once again underfoot. Listening and watching while I get ready for the day. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. You are ahead of the game. Of course, I think you're also ahead of the time, too. Shannon, good morning. Thank you for joining me. Ooh, making breakfast. What you making? Oh, Shannon, you are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. I hope the lighting is okay. It's still a little bit of a struggle to get the lighting just right. You're making pizza for breakfast. Breakfast of champions. Amen. Is that breakfast pizzas or just regular like frozen pizza or leftovers? This is going to take a while. That's okay though. I probably should have pressed this up before I started the stream, but that's all right. You guys can see the entire project this way. There's no funny editing this time. Iron isn't very warm. Could be because it's baby pizza on toast. Ooh. There you go. That's unique. All right. When I was going through my containers looking for this fabric to start this pattern, to start this project, I found some old fabric from yours and Tony's projects when you guys were little. Those what were they? Sweatpants? No, like joggers or something that you guys were making. Some type of shorts, pajama shorts, maybe. Maybe it was pajama shorts. That's what I was thinking. I found the fabric for that in the project. So, you know, if you want to come by and finish, you're welcome to stop by and finish. Angel and I are gonna play this game today. In and out, and then in and then out, and then in and then out. That's what we're gonna do today. Shorts. They were shorts, yes. Were they pajama shorts or like underwear shorts, or what kind of shorts were they? I don't remember. Okay. The curse of working in small spaces, it takes you forever to iron up these bigger pieces of fabric. These are, like as I was mentioning before, this project is a fat quarter friendly, but the shop didn't have the fat quarter, so I actually had to buy everything off the yard, or off the bolt. I'm sorry. Yeah, pajama shorts. Okay. I had to buy everything off the bolt, so each bundle of fabric is about 1.25 yards, which should give us 24 or 25 fat quarters, which should be enough to make a twin-sized quilt. Something between a twin and a full. It's been a long time since I bought this fabric and the pattern, so I don't remember exactly what I was planning. I do know that I have enough fabric for the top and the border. I do not think that I will have enough. I know I don't have any backing fabric for it because we had decided we were going to wait to pick that out. So I'll have to go over to the local quilt store and pick something out for that. And then I'm not sure if I even have enough binding, but that's okay because I can use the backing fabric for binding. So hopefully this one is going to take us, well, this one will probably take us a couple of live streams is what I'm thinking, especially since the majority of this one is going to be ironing and cutting. We probably won't get to a lot of sewing today, but that's okay. You got to start somewhere. And once again, Angel wants back in. Hi. There you are. Hello again. Oh boy. Okay, so I have two streaming softwares working right now. Apparently, now they are both going to be going at the same time. So I apologize for the spamming of the chat. I couldn't get it to work before, and now I've got both of them working. Go figure. That's all right, though. At least something's working. I will fix all that later on. At least I know it's working now. And again, if you want a copy of this pattern, you can do exclamation point pattern in chat. Tony or Shannon, if you're able to do that for me, that would be fantastic. You can do exclamation point pattern in chat, and that will give you a link to the Fat Quarter Shop for that pattern. I also have exclamation point fabric that gives you the name of the fabric, but unfortunately I really couldn't find anywhere that was still carrying it, so I couldn't give you a link to it. There are, I mean, if you do a Google search, you can find a couple of bits and pieces of it, but I can't find the whole collection anymore because it is a retired collection. So thank you, Tony. Keep that up. I might make you a moderator. So as I was mentioning earlier, it is a beautiful day outside today. It's supposed to be, I think my husband said it's supposed to be in the 50s today. Yesterday it was a high of 30. And today it's supposed to be in the 50s. It's just going to be beautiful today. So I can't wait to get outside for a little bit. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started my stream a little early. So then that way I could get outside and enjoy some of the nice weather for a little bit. Very high tech. It's so cool though. Well, thank you. Thank you, Shannon. I'm learning. I'm getting there. Now I just gotta figure out this lighting. Oh god, the lighting is just awful in here. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm still working on that, but at least I finally got that. You're going to Florida today. That's right. You were gonna be going there. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. What time is your flight? Thank you, Lucas. You guys are so sweet. I told you I'm gonna make you guys moderators if you're not careful. And welcome, Lucas, by the way. Sorry, welcome. All right, this one is just about done. 7, you think? Okay. And well, you know, maybe she's riding a bike. You never know. I'm guessing she thought maybe you were going to be driving. But I could be wrong. All right. This one is ironed up. We'll do one more and then we'll cut some pieces. That way we kind of break it up a little bit. Plus, you know, I'm working in small spaces here, so I got to do it a little bit at a time. Good morning again, Lucas. Gotta do it a little bit at a time. Look at this fabric. Isn't this beautiful? Look at the daisies. They're so pretty. So pretty. What are you doing over there, Ange? Boy. Sundays are hobby days in my house. My kids can attest to that. It was something that we did when they were little, and my husband is actually currently off to the hobby store because he has run out of something that he needed for his hobby. I think I mentioned it in the last live. He does model cars. They are beautiful. He's really talented, very very talented. One of these days, maybe I'll do a surprise video on his setup, just for fun, because sewing is not the only hobby in the world. There are other ones out there. And again, sorry for the spamming of the chat. I will figure out how to fix that. I think it's going a little too fast, but I don't think I can change it right now. I'll make a note to fix it later. So, but anyway, like I said, he's off to the hobby store to pick up some stuff, whatever it is he needs for his hobby. And maybe I will do a video introducing his stuff and maybe some other people's hobbies too. I think hobbies are important. They give us an opportunity to find a way to relieve some stress, although, let's be honest, sometimes the hobby can create some stress too. But they give us an opportunity to relieve a little bit of stress and focus on something that's not our normal everyday stresses and things that we have to think about as adults and even as children too. School and bills and kids and animals and for an hour or two a day or a week or whatever, you can just kind of focus on something pretty, something creative, something that takes your mind off of all of those things. So I've always believed that hobbies were important, and I've tried to encourage that with all of my children, both the ones that are blood relatives and those that are by name and by heart. All of our kids participated in all of the fads of when they were little. There, the rubber bands and the rainbow looms and the bracelets and all of that stuff there, just to find ways to tap into their inner creativity, and kind of find ways to deal with the stresses of adolescence and childhood. After Sunday morning breakfast, we would all pull out our various hobbies and work on them together. It was both a bonding moment and an opportunity for us to learn a new skill. Everybody say good morning to Angel. She has finally made her presence known on the camera. She's been in the room all morning, but now you can actually see her. She makes an appearance in most of my videos. She's usually underfoot. Okay. Where's Tay? Tay is probably still sleeping. I'm not sure. She didn't want to get on camera this morning, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But she is somewhere in the house. I'm not sure. She is home for spring break. She is the one that this quilt was picked out for. Well, she actually picked it out, if I'm being honest. She is currently home for spring break for a couple of days. This is her bedroom. But since my other daughter is not home for spring break, she is staying in my other daughter's room, so then that way I could be live with you guys. Otherwise, it might be a little awkward if she's sleeping right here. Although it could be fun too. Who knows? There we go. I think this will be the last one that we iron up for a little bit. We'll do a little bit of cutting just to kind of break it up a little bit. Like I said, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get to any sewing today, unfortunately. It just depends on how quick we can get through the ironing and the sewing. I guess I could have ironed the fabric up before, but you know, sometimes it's nice to just kind of go slow and be chill. Well, she's not sleeping with Ivy. She didn't. Ivy slept with me. This daisy fabric is so pretty. Oh, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but this fabric is called Oops a Daisy by Kanvas. It is unfortunately a retired fabric line, so you can't really find the entire line in stores. I was able to find bits and pieces of it, but nothing substantial. And since the chatbot is working, that means the point system is also working. So something fun that I set up, and hopefully it's working okay, is if you're watching the chat and participating in the chat, then you're actually earning points. And later on, not right now because I haven't figured out what to do just yet, but later on, I will set up an opportunity for you guys to turn in those points for other things, whether they be extra fabric pieces that I have here, or some notions that I have, or maybe a gift card of some kind, or I haven't decided what yet. But I think if it's working correctly, if you do exclamation point and then type in points, I think it'll tell you how many points you've currently earned. If one of my moderators would mind trying it out for me to see if it works, that would be really great. And I think you earn 1 point. Right now, I think it's set up like 1 point for every 5 minutes or something. I'll fix that so that you earn points a little bit faster. And then there should also be a heist game that you can play too, but I haven't changed any of the text on that yet. So I think it says something about, thank you, Shannon Tony. Looks like it's working. And they're thimbles. Yeah, so I renamed the points to thimbles. So you earn thimbles, and then you'll be able to turn in those thimbles for prizes. I don't know what those prizes are going to be just yet, but we'll see what those are. And I will also set it up so that you earn a little bit more thimbles than just one. We'll make it so that it's a little bit easier, but I'm glad to see that it's working. But there's also a heist game, so you can bet a certain number of your points. So if you do an exclamation point heist, I think it's HEIST, and then you tell it how many of your points that you have earned you're willing to risk. or you can just type in all and risk them all. Then after a few minutes, it will do a random draw and send out some points. I think right now the text is something about pirates because it's just the default text. I haven't fixed it yet. But if one of you guys want to try that out to make sure that's working as well, that'd be great. That could be something fun to play in chat while we're working on these projects. That's exclamation point heist, and then you just type in a space and then the number of points that you're willing to risk. So, or if you want to risk them all, then you do exclamation point heist and then space and then all. And see if you win. If it's working. I don't know if it's working or not. Let's check the other side here. Make sure that we get both sides ironed up because we are going to be using both sides of the fabric. So I'm glad to see the thimbles are working. Oh, Shannon's gonna risk it all. Like I said, the text is about pirates and captains. Well, I'll fix it. Right now, it's pirates and captains because that's the default. We'll have to come up with some clever text for it. But I'm glad to see that it's working, and we'll see how many points Shannon wins, or if she loses them all. Wait and see. Fine. Yeah, after this one, we'll go ahead and we'll do a little cutting just to kind of break up the monotony. I love ironing. It is so satisfying to watch those wrinkles just disappear. It's like I wish I could do that with my life sometimes. Just iron it all out and the wrinkles all just disappear. You know, maybe even with my face a little bit. It doesn't work that way though, unfortunately. But I do love ironing. I'm not a huge fan of the cutting portion of it, but you know, it's a necessary evil. As I mentioned before, this is a fat quarter friendly pattern. Unfortunately, the shop that I bought this fabric from way back when I did buy it, when I bought it, didn't have the fat quarter bundle needed to make this pattern, so we had to buy it off the bolt. We are making not 100% sure if it's the twin or the full-size piece. So we're basically going to put it together and see what happens. And go from there. Yeah, that Streamlabs is really just spamming the chat, so. Oh, look at that! Shannon won. Congratulations, Shannon. Oh, Shannon, I've got the chat set up so that you can't put anything in capitals. I'm sorry. So it automatically deleted your messages. I should probably turn that off. I'm sorry. But congratulations on winning. That's really exciting. And I think there's a cooldown period of like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can play again. Shannon was deleted. I'm sorry. I'll turn that off. Oh my gosh, the Streamlabs is they're both spamming in the chat. I'm sorry. I will figure this out one day. I will turn that all off later. Or set it so that it's not quite so often. probably doesn't need to go off every 5 minutes. And I probably don't need to have both of them activated either. I will also figure out how to get some non-copyrighted music to play in the background, because I know you can do that. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm still messing with that. But yeah, the spamming chat is a little annoying. I'm sorry. But at least now it's working. I've only been trying to set it up for the last 2 weeks. I have no idea what I did to actually get it to work, but it works now. The Streamlabs has a lot of points racked up. Well, like I said, I'll fix that so you're not just earning 1 point every 5 minutes. You'll earn a little bit more. We'll get that working. Now that I know it actually works and does something, I can spend some more time looking into it. We are just about done with this panel here, and then we can go ahead and come over here for a little bit, do a little bit of cutting. Like I said, I bought that new Martelli cutting wheel. I'm excited to try that out. I also have my normal one back there if I need that one. Lucas, I think there's a cool down period of a few minutes. I think it's like 5 or 10 minutes before you can do another heist. And then when you do, you're going to want to make sure you type in the amount of points that you want to risk. So it would be exclamation point heist and then the amount of points, or all, which will risk all of your points. And each time you come back in for a live chat or live stream, you will earn more points. And I think I have it set up so that new subscribers earn a little bit of extra points as well. And I think there's a way for me to give everybody a bunch of points too. I'm just not entirely sure how to do that at the moment. Okay. All right, so this one is all nice and ironed up. All right. So let's move over here and do a little bit of cutting to try and break up a little bit of the excitement for the day. Oh, okay. Don't need that right now. Again, I did put a link in the chat. If you do exclamation point pattern, it will show you, it will take you to a link in the Fat Quarter Shop for the pattern. It's called Yellow Brick Road, which is kind of fitting since we're going to be working on with yellow fabric. Okay, so I've got 3 sets of fabric here that we're going to just cut up. You guys have seen me, if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me cut up plenty of fabric. I need to buy a bigger mat. This is a little small. I need something a little bit bigger, I think. But I basically just start on one end and work my way through. I can't give you the cutting instruction, the actual cutting sizes, because that would be a copyright thing, and I don't want to do that. But I can tell you, where did I put the pattern? Hold on. What did I do with it? Oh, duh. I can tell you, I read through the pattern, and it seems pretty easy to follow. Of course, you guys know me. I will find the mistakes to make, but we're gonna try it anyway. It looks like we're just gonna be making some strips and then cutting up those strips and then rearranging them to make the pattern. So it doesn't look too difficult to do. I think that it's pretty beginner quilt friendly. So if it's not a pattern, if quilting is not something you do all the time or something you're still learning how to do, I think you can probably manage just fine. So let's go ahead and get this one set up first, or cut up first, I'm sorry. I've got 2 pieces here. I've got the folds lined up real well, so then that way they cut nice and straight. I'll line them up on my line here. First thing I'm going to do, make a nice clean cut on the side here, just to make sure I get it all. That one might work, but that one's just a hair. So I'm going to use the longer one. So that I get a nice clean cut to start with. And I have my weight on the top of my ruler to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. If you guys have those creative grid rulers, then those are really, really nice. And we're going to try the new Martelli. So the new Martelli, it's ergonomic. So you actually you put your finger at the top here, and you hold it like this, okay? And you just kind of push. And it's supposed to keep your wrist straight instead of turned. With the other one, let me grab it so you can see what I'm talking about here. With the other one, you have to cut it with your arm kind of turned, okay? And that can be bad for carpal tunnel. And then the other thing is you can put your finger here, but if you do and you slip, you're actually going to cut your finger because the blade's right there. So I'm going to try the Martelli one because I do have carpal tunnel. So we're going to see if that helps a little bit, especially with all this cutting. I'm going to actually leave that one closer, just in case. I've heard some people have a hard time getting used to the Martelli, so we might have to switch in between for a couple tries till we get it right. But we're going to give it a shot here. My ruler moved, so I need to move it back. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so with this one, to take the safety off, you just roll it. And it just pops it off. And then you push the button here on the side to turn it back on. It's kind of weird. So we're going to try it. Okay, here we go. Ready? All right, here we go. Not bad. Did take me two tries. But, you know, that's because I wasn't pushing real hard. I wasn't sure how sharp that blade was or anything like that. But wasn't too bad so far. Let's see how it goes. All right. Where are those cutting instructions? Okay, here they are. All right. I'm going to use my ruler here to identify where I need to be at. There. This way. There we go. All right, so we roll forward to unlock, line it up, and push. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's keep going. Now, normally when you move your fabric, you're going to want to make yourself a nice, fresh, clean cut, just to make sure that nothing has slidden or moved or adjusted. So I'm just going to give myself just not even an eighth of an inch of a clean cut there, just to make sure everything is nice and even. Line that up, roll forward. Time to do it one more time. There we go. All right. I need 369. Just barely. Again, I'm not giving you guys the cutting instructions, the specific instructions, because this is not my pattern. If you want to go get your own pattern, you can do !pattern in chat, and it'll give you a link to the Fat Quarter Shop, which is where I found the least expensive pattern. I also found it on Amazon as well, but it was a little bit more expensive. So that's why I gave you the link for the Fat Quarter Shop to get it there if you were interested. There we go. 1, 2. Wow. That's cutting really nice, guys. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to how to hold it and that, but it's cutting really nicely. Really, really nicely. Now again, I moved the fabric, so I'm just going to give myself just a sliver of a fresh cut again, just to make sure I'm lining everything up perfectly square or straight, I guess. There we go. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise that it's making when it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. My husband watches a lot of the quilt shows with me on YouTube because I make him basically. But one of the ones he actually really enjoys watching is he enjoys watching Donna Jordan of Jordan Fabrics, because at some point throughout her video she shows herself cutting fabric, and she always makes that noise that I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just a noise that it makes, and he's just like, oh, it's so satisfying to hear that. And I'm like, I don't know why, but he's right. All right, last piece on this back quarter here, and it looks like we're going to have just some crumb pieces left. There's those. These are just some crumb pieces left. No, they actually might be big enough to do something with, so I'll hang on to those. That one might not be big enough to do anything with, but if I usually don't keep anything that's less than a half an inch, because by the time you sew it up with the 1/4 inch seam, there's really nothing left. So, but these make really good. The 1/2 inch pieces make really good leaders. If you guys watched my last video, if you guys watched my last stream, you would have seen that I used some leaders with those half square triangles. So I really like using those. Okay, so now we've got into a little bit bigger of pieces. So I'm gonna move these pieces over here. This piece here. Now I've got this piece kind of folded a few times here, so I don't want to do it too much. So I'm folding it this way so that I can get the length of the fabric. So I've got the selvage edges matched up, so it's folded in half, and then I have the fold of the fabric folded again, so that's like a little pocket, if you will. Because we're going to be doing strips, so I'm trying to make sure that when I'm cutting this, I'm cutting it into nice strips. Plus, working with a small cutting space, you got to be creative when it comes to. Now, this is really thick. This is a lot of layers. This is see, 2, 4, 6. This is 8 layers, so I'm not sure if I'm comfortable cutting that many layers at one time. If you are comfortable cutting that many layers at a time, by all means go ahead. 8 layers is a bit much for the 45 millimeter. If I had the 60, 8 layers is probably okay, but the 45 millimeter struggles with and anything over 6 layers is usually what it struggles with. So the problem with that is that my cutting space is not big enough to cut anything less. So I guess we're just gonna have to do it. So we'll see how this one goes. And see what happens. Now I do have a really big cutting mat. It's a really big one. I do have a really big one, but I can't set that one up in this room. I have to set that one up in my kitchen, on my kitchen island. So we'll have to go with what we got here today. Well, we're gonna give it a go. See what happens. I've got the salvage edge all lined up here so that I get a nice fresh cut, hopefully. I've got my weight on there to hold it down. You're really going to need your weight with this many layers, so make sure you're really getting that weight in there. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. It cut through it. So it did a pretty good job. All right, let's give it a go. So let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do this again. It slid a little bit. I felt it. Oh. Slide it back. There we go. All right, so that made, let's see, that should have made 2, right? Yes, it did. Okay, good. 2 strips is what we wanted. There's that. And then, let's see. Now again, because I'm moving the fabric, I want to make another fresh cut. Line everything up. The fabric is pretty stiff and flat, so it should be pretty easy to cut up. It's just a matter of those layers that's kind of throwing everything a little off. We're going to go ahead and cut up the next layer. So for those of you just joining us, we are using my brand new Martelli cutter for the very first time. One of the reasons that I bought it, besides the fact that it's supposed to be very good for carpal tunnel, was also that I've heard it's really good for sitting down cutting. If you've seen a couple of my videos, you've seen where I've had to stand up to cut a couple of times because I can't see the lines up here or for a variety of different reasons. But I'm told this one works really well for sitting, and in this small space, it's easier for me to be able to sit than it is for me to stand, especially when I'm trying to be on camera as well. If I'm using my big mat in my kitchen, on my kitchen island, well, that's a different story. I can stand, well, because I can't sit and reach the counter. I'm not that tall. So, So that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to try it out as well. It's because I found that cutting out fabric when we were doing the Valentine's Day project box, it was a little challenging to cut that fabric sitting down with my normal cutter. Wow, that cut really nice. I really like that. Hold that one down really well. Butter. It's cutted like butter. All right. Let's see how many more pieces we can get. Actually, fold it this way now. Keep it open, but fold it just this once. I'm trying to get one more set of the strips out of it. I think I can do that if I unfold it. Remember, every time you move that fabric, you want to make another fresh cut. I know it's kind of a little bit of a waste of the fabric, but it will save you a lot of time and frustration in the long run if you have nice straight cuts. If you're just joining me, thank you. One, thank you for joining me. And two, say hi in the chat so we know you're there. Let us know if you're working on a project, what you're working on, or what you're doing on this beautiful Sunday morning. Hard time counting today. There we go. We are working on the Yellow Brick Road pattern with the Oops a Daisy fabric line. If you do exclamation point pattern in chat, that will bring up the pattern for you as well as a link to the fat quarter shop. And if you do exclamation point fabric, it will give you the name of the fabric and the manufacturer. Unfortunately, the fabric does appear to be retired. I was not able to find anyone that was carrying the entire fabric line anymore. I could find a couple of bits and pieces of it, but not the entire line. So that's why I didn't provide a link to that. But you can Google the fabric line, and it will bring you up a couple of different places to get a couple of the pieces. So pull this all the way over here. Hopefully there's enough here. Yep, just enough. We are making the somewhere between the full size and the twin size quilt. I truth be told, I bought the fabric and the pattern 4 years ago. I don't remember the exact time frame. When we were out of town, we went out of town with my kids for a concert, and we visited some of the local quilt stores in the area. We found this. My daughter found this quilt. It was one of their display units, and she loved it. And I told both of my daughters to pick out a quilt that they liked, and I would make it for them. I didn't realize it was going to take me 4 years to get to it because of some personal reasons, but I did end up getting to it eventually. So that's what we're working on right now. I just saw a notification on my phone that Becca just said something probably about her live. She's got a live going Later today, if you do exclamation point so Becca, that's SEWBECCA in chat. If any of my moderators are still available, if they could do that for me, that'd be great. It will give you a link to her YouTube. I strongly encourage you, if you're not already following her, to go follow her. She does some amazing work, and I love how down to earth she is, and very, she's like me. She's a home quilter. She's not, a professional, but I would consider her much more of an expert than myself. Um, but she does lives every Friday and Sunday where she does a bunch of project boxes. Eventually, I will get to the point where I have some more of those project boxes, but they're a little pricey. So, we gotta budget those. Okay, well, so far I'm liking this Martelli. I'm really liking this. And this was actually a recommendation by her, by Sobecca. Something that she recommended everybody use. And I don't have any affiliates with any of these manufacturers. I just tell you guys what I like and what works for me. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Maybe someday, but probably not anytime soon. What I really like is I like the fact I can put my finger here, because with my other one, I really like having my finger there, but you're not supposed to put your finger there because you can actually slide too far and cut your finger. So you're supposed to hold it like you're shaking somebody's hand like this. It's very tiring with this much cutting. All right, last piece with this fabric. We have one more, and then we'll do some more ironing. Like I mentioned earlier, we probably won't be able to get to much sewing today, because the prep of the fabric takes a long time. And I have this one here to cut, and then I have two more. So maybe we will get to a little bit of sewing today. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm only planning to go until noon. No, 12:30 today. The stream is only going to go till about 12:30, so we'll see what we can get done. This project is going to be a stream exclusive project. We're not going to be working on this on any videos. So obviously we're not going to finish this today. So we won't finish this today. So next Sunday, hopefully I'll be able to do another stream next Sunday. Although I do have to take my daughter back to school next Sunday, so I'm not sure that that's really going to be possible. But the next stream that we do, the next live stream we do, we will be working on at least finishing up this quilt top. Probably doing more sewing, I'm sure. So satisfying. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is so satisfying to hear it. And it is a Martelli blade that's in it right now, so that is part of the satisfaction of it as well. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go from. How did I do this last time? I did it this way. Okay, so I'm gonna need to do 2.5 this way. The piece is just a little bit too small for my ruler, and I'm not really comfortable doing it that way, so I'm actually measuring it this way instead of measuring it this way. I'm lining up the 3.5-inch line on my ruler, and then I'm going to cut, still cutting on this side of the ruler, but doing things a little bit different. Yeah, those are less than 1/2 inch, so those can go away. Like I said, I don't really keep the crumbs that are anything less than 1/2 inch. It, you know, by the time you add your 1/4 inch seams to it to try and make it into anything, it's basically too small to even see. So, and the 1/2 inch pieces, I'm using those as leaders. If you guys watched my last live, you would have seen me using a leader for those triangle pieces on the cotton cut stuff. That way it doesn't gum up the machine or jam up the machine when you're trying to sew through it. Okay, so we've got some pieces cut here. Like those. I don't know exactly how big this quilt is going to be because I have a rough guess of how much fabric I bought, but I don't know for certain. So I'm just going to cut up the fabric that I know I've intended for the quilt top, and we're going to go from there and see how much it makes, because that's really all I can do right now. So, all right, next piece is this one here. And again, we're going to fold it the same way we did before. So it's already folded in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again so that I get it kind of in this 8 layers for a little bit. That's going to cut down on my cutting time. If you're not comfortable cutting 8 layers, then don't. I am not ultra comfortable. I'm not super comfortable cutting 8 layers at a time, but I'm also working with a small sewing space, and I kind of have to in order to be able to do it correctly. Otherwise, I would be here for days. So I am biting the bullet and doing it. All right, I've got the salvage edges matched up, and then I've got the folded edges matched up as well. So that's what gives you your 8 layers. And this Martelli cutting wheel is really working very nicely with those 8 layers. And once again, Angel wants to go outside, or go out of the room. Excuse me a moment. All right. Chat bots haven't gone off in a while. I don't know if that's just because there's not much activity in the chat, or she wants to come back in. Angel. The door is staying closed, so either pick in or out, please. All right, I'm shutting the door. She doesn't like closed doors. She doesn't necessarily need to be in the room. She just doesn't like the door closed. She's going to continue to knock on the door as long as it's closed. All right. Okay. So let's continue cutting. There we go. What did we get here? These pieces a 1/2 inch. No. All right. Okay. As I was mentioning before, if you're watching the live stream, I don't know if you're just watching or if you're watching and participating in chat, but you're earning points while you're there. And eventually I will set those points up so that you can trade them in for things, for little tidbits here and there, for free things, maybe a gift card of some kind or something. I'm not sure yet. But if you do exclamation point points, then it will tell you how many points you've earned so far. And if you do exclamation point heist, then you can play a little game of basically a little gambling game with your points. You say exclamation point heist with the amount of points that you're willing to gamble with, if you will, and then it plays a little game, and some people win, some people lose. That's kind of how it works. Right now, all of the text for the game is talking about pirates because I haven't changed any of it over yet. Eventually, the points are called thimbles for right now because we're all sewing. And eventually, I will get all of that verbiage changed over to something that's a little bit more relevant to what we're doing. But at least it's working, so that's good to know. There we go. That's nice. So, if you want to check that out, I encourage you to do so. And if you're looking for the pattern, I know I've mentioned it probably way too many times already, but if you do exclamation point pattern in the chat window, it will bring you a link to the pattern that we're doing today called Yellow Brick Road. There we go. This has like little spaghetti, fabric spaghetti. No, I am not giving out the cutting instructions because this is not my pattern. I don't want to do anything like that. It's Angel. She's knocking at the door again. She wants to come. I told you she just doesn't like the door closed. She doesn't want to be in the room. She just doesn't want you to close the door. She does not like privacy. It's not her thing. Angel, wait a minute, please. There you go. Come on in. Yeah, I know. You're mad at me because I closed the door. She was yelling at me. She says, "How dare you?" I know. I can still hear you. Cut all the way through. It did cut all the way through. Sweet. One more. Oops. Yep. One more. Go. Okay. Now unfold this fabric so that I could get the rest of the pieces that I need, which it does not appear that I'm going to get enough. This piece of fabric must be smaller than the others. That's right though. It is what it is. See. Yeah, I'm not going to get it all. That's all right. Cut this piece first before I start measuring. Well, I don't seem to have any struggle at all with the thinner layers, with four layers instead of the 8. So I'm really liking this so far. So far, it's working out very well. That cut all the way through. Maybe I can. There we go. I think I'll get one more piece out of this. Let's see. Flip this over. This is the salvage edge. Not quite as straight as this edge here. There we go. Put that iron on there like that. There we go. All right. Put one more strip there. Well, I am too short. two of these short, not I'm too short. Although that's true too. For this, so I actually need 2 more of those. So I need to remember that when we go to cut the next set of pieces. Then I need to cut 2 extra pieces of whatever the next fabric is. So I'm actually going to put that there to hopefully remind me. All right, so let me turn the iron back on because it turned off on us. And then we will work on the next fabric, which is this beautiful daisy dot fabric. So pretty. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of weird on the camera with the dots, but so pretty. We have 2 more fabrics for the top to go, so we'll go ahead and iron those up and then cut those pieces up, and we'll see where we're at from there, and maybe we'll get to at least start sewing some of the strips up maybe a little bit, or just chat for a few minutes. Who knows? I'm hoping only to stay live till about 12:30 because I don't want to compete with any of the other, you know, expert YouTubers that are going to be online. I think starting at 11. I think that one of them started at 11, so I'm kind of competing with that one, but I'm not too worried about it. Iron top. And once again, Angel's decided she needs to leave the room again. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Okay. In and then out. In and then out. In and then out. Should we count how long it takes her to start knocking on the door again? 5 minutes, maybe? Best press in the spray bottle. I prefer to use some starch on my fabrics. You don't have to use starch if you don't want to. Some people don't like getting the starch on their iron or on the fabric. I've heard that just some plain water in a spray bottle also does take the wrinkles out, but I prefer that my fabrics be a little bit stiffer so that it doesn't stretch too much when I'm trying to cut it. So I do prefer the best press. The weather out here by me is turned warm for today. It was very chilly yesterday. But today it seems to be warmer. I heard my husband mentioned something about the 50s degrees Fahrenheit today. Yesterday it was in the mid to low 30s, so it's much different. See, I told her she was going to knock again. Run in! Angel. This is what we're going to do today. We're just going to approach the door and the cat today. I'll knock again in a second. We played this game a lot whenever I close the door. But I do need to keep the door closed so that my family has a little bit of privacy. Especially since the bathroom door is just across the hall from this one. So, we don't want to catch anybody in some weird situations. There we go. Right. Wind it over this way. Go. Right. Slide that over there. I don't know about you guys, but I like ironing. It is so satisfying to see all those wrinkles just disappear. I don't know why I said that before, but it's worth repeating. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to any sewing today, unfortunately, but that's okay. That just means we'll be all ready to go next week. Hopefully next week. Maybe the week after that. We'll have to wait and see. Next week, I'm taking my daughter back to school. She's currently home for spring break, which is really nice to have her home. But I have to take her back to school on Sunday, so I'm not sure that I'm going to have time to do another live. We'll have to wait and see. I have to try and plan out my week. This week. All right, so that's one side. Let's take a look at the other side now. Sometimes you have to press both sides. Just depends. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to do this side too. So we'll do that real quick. You always want to make sure that you do both sides to get all of the wrinkles out. It will just make your life easier when you're cutting, because then you can make sure that you're cutting those nice straight lines because the fabric is laying nice and flat. And I know these little wrinkles don't seem like they would make a big difference, but they really do make a difference. That can be, you know, 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch in some cases, and even that amount of give can make a difference. You really want to try to be as accurate as you possibly can. Like I said, that just makes your life easier moving forward. Makes everything sew up a little bit easier. And everything matches up. Just make it easier. Go. I probably could have ironed these up before the stream, but the whole point of this particular project and this particular stream is that I want you guys to be able to see the entire project from start to finish. And part of that is ironing up the fabric and cutting it into pieces. So I think it's important that those of you who are not familiar with the quilting process or who are learning how to do it yourself know where you need to start. And the ironing is basically where you need to start. And my iron makes a lot of rattling noise because the water tank for it is actually removable. I don't have any water in it. I did at one time, but I've changed my mind since then and don't anymore. But because there's no water in it, it's kind of loose and kind of rattles around. So that's why it makes that weird noise. It's not broken. That's just the noise it makes. But it does make it convenient to refill it, because then I can just slip the cartridge out, or when I was filling it with water, I would just slip the cartridge out and walk it over to the sink and fill it up there, as opposed to trying to find some weird, you know, measuring cup or something to be able to pour it in there and spilling it all over the place like I do with my full-size iron. There we go. Last corner, and then we can probably cut this one up and then iron the other one. I have a funny. Sorry, I have a funny feeling we're only going to be able to get this one done before the door stream today. That's okay. That just means we have more to do next time. Well, the chatbot was working earlier, but it does not appear to be working anymore. So if you have not already, please consider liking and subscribing. It's really helping the channel out. I cannot believe how many people YouTube has put my video in front of already. My videos, I should say. And there have been so many new subscribers because of that, which has been really exciting to see. I've gotten some from Sobecca's channel. She was kind enough to let me post a link to my channel in her live chat a couple weeks ago. So if you joined from her channel, thank you. Welcome. I have, of course, some family members that have joined. And some people that have joined just from YouTube recommending my channel. So that's really, really nice to see and hear. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this one cut up now because I have those other two pieces I need to do and I don't want to forget about them. So let's do that first. Because I need to get those other two pieces cut up first. I have this weird chair pad that just does not want to stay. Of course, you know, maybe if I sat still that would help, but where's the fun in that? So over here. I think my dogs are going to start barking in a minute. There's one of them. There we go. It's not the cat, it's the dogs. It's okay though. That's the baby. That's the youngest one. Not necessarily the smallest, just the youngest. The smallest one is the loudest. Not that one. Let's see if they quiet down. If not, I might have to pause the video for a minute and see if I can quiet them down. All weird. Weird. Okay. Alright, so I need to measure. Oh, right, I gotta do these first, so don't forget. Okay, one. Weight. One. Actually, that'll be enough because this one was only one thick, and this one's two thick. So that's. So now I can start over again. Okay. Hopefully, that still means we have enough to do the rest of them, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I don't know exactly how much fabric I bought. This is a fat quarter friendly pattern, but the quilt shop I bought the fabric from is out of state from me, and they did not have the fat quarter bundle available. So I had to buy all the fabric off the bolt, which is fine, but that means I don't know how much fabric I actually bought. Based on what I needed for the fat quarters. So, it's a little bit of a guessing game. I know it's going to be at least, I'm pretty sure, I shouldn't say I know, I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least a twin size. But I'm hoping that it's more of a full size, so that it kind of hangs over the bed a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But I also have some border fabric too, so depending on how big the top gets, we can also kind of finagle the border fabric a little bit too, hopefully. We'll see how that goes. The border fabric is real pretty. It's this like daisy chain almost. It's really pretty. You'll see it when we get to it. Oh, look at that. Okay, so apparently the blade does not turn. You're supposed to turn the blade. Okay. And this blade is starting to get dull. I can feel it. Interesting. Yep. Oh, learning lessons. It just totally shredded the fabric that time. So keep an eye on that. Let's see if I can just loosen it. Just try loosening it just a little bit to see if that makes it. Let's see. All right, we were starting over again, right? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Like I said, every time you move the fabric, you're going to want to make sure that you're relining everything up and you give yourself a brand new fresh cut so that you can. And you don't have to cut off a lot, just like a spaghetti piece, just to give yourself enough of a fresh cut to start over with. I think this blade is starting to go, at least this edge of the blade. It looks like the blade you turn manually, so. That could have been bad. I'll make sure you get that lined up. Line that up. Almost. Nope. Two. Now we're towards the edge here, so I'm going to unfold this again. Put it back this way. I think we're going to end up with the same problem we did before. And that this piece is not going to be big enough. These must be a quarter of a yard too short. Or half of a quarter. There we go. It's like spaghetti piece. All right, so I need. How many did I get? So I need 2 of these. 1, 2, 3. There's 1. You're gonna need 1 more. Trying to make sure to do my best to cut out the correct amount of fabric each time. And since I had it doubled before, I need to make 2 to give me pieces here. That, and then I have this much left over. It's not quite long enough to make anything with, so I'm going to put that in my stash. All right, looks like we've got 1 left to go. We can. Well, the truth is that I'm not going to get it finished in 15 minutes. So we could probably leave it for next week. And finish up the rest of the ironing and this cutting next week. And we can chat for a few minutes. If there's anyone in the chat that wants to say hello, you are welcome to say hello. We can chat for a little bit until 12:30. As I mentioned, I'm sure 100 times already, if you're interested in this pattern, you can do !pattern in the chat, and it will actually bring up a link to the Fat Quarter Shop where they're still offering the pattern. It's by Atkinson Designs. It's called Yellow Brick Road. The fabric is called Oopsie-Daisy. Unfortunately, it is a retired fabric line, so you're not going to be able to find the whole line, but you can find bits and pieces of it. I was able to find the dot fabric that we were working on earlier. I was able to find that, and then I was also able to find the small daisy fabric also. I was not able to find some of the other pieces. Well, you know, we've got a couple of extra minutes. Why don't I show you at least what the other fabrics are, and then that way next week when we meet up again, you guys will know what it looks like. So here is the other top piece that we're going to be ironing up and cutting next week. So this is just some really large print yellow and white daisies. It's really pretty. So that's the one that we have left to do next week. And then this one here is our border fabric. And you can see how it's got these really cool lines in it. And we're going to use those lines to actually make a border. So we're going to cut right on this, probably on this yellow line, maybe in the center of this yellow line, to try and make the borders all the way around with these daisies. So that's why there's quite a bit here. Hopefully it'll be enough to do what we need. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It's just a little, what is that, 4-inch? Let me see. It is a probably a 6-inch border, and then you take off another 1/4 of an inch on either side for the binding and sewing. So 5 inches total is what it would end up being, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping there's enough here to do what we want to do with it, because you can't find it anymore. So hopefully there's enough there. Like I said, I don't really know. I don't know exactly what size pattern I was looking at when I bought all this fabric. I don't know if I was looking at the twin or the full sized. So You just kind of have to figure it out and go from there. Once I have all the pieces cut up for the top, then we'll be able to figure out a little bit better what size quilt we're going to be making, because we'll know exactly how many pieces we have. So right now I have, let's see. Oh, they're kind of doubled up, so it's a little hard to tell, but I'm not exactly sure. All right, well, I think I'm going to let you guys go a little bit early. I was hoping that we could get to some sewing today, but unfortunately, you know, sometimes that cutting and ironing takes some time. I probably could have ironed it up before I started this, but you know, where's the fun in that? We got to chat some this morning. Thank you to everyone this earlier that joined me on the live earlier, and for those of you that are with me now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you can. I try and post at least one video a week. I'd really like to get back into doing 2 videos a week, but I've got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now that I haven't been able to get to it. So, yeah, that's really all I've got for today, guys. Thanks again so much for joining me. I will hopefully see you guys again next week. We'll see how that goes. So Becca, like I said, she'll be live later today. I don't remember. I think she goes live at 1. I'm not sure. So check to see. I'll put the link in the description box below. If it's not already there, it might be there. I'm not sure. But I'll put a link in chat once the chat goes, once the video comes down. So, all right, guys. I know these are, it's always weird ending these. I don't know. I'm just still trying to figure this all out. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a wonderful day. I hope the weather is as nice by you as it is by me, and you're able to get a little bit of time outside and enjoy it, since we've been cooped up in our homes for so long through this winter. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful week, and hopefully I will see you again next week. Bye. Gotta get my mouth. Bye.